Okay, let's go.
Okay, so let's talk about building wealth. It's a topic that's often made to sound super mysterious and complicated. But what if I told you the real path to millions was actually, well, kind of boring? In this explainer, we're going to break down that exact path, and you might be surprised by what it looks like. Let's dive in. You know, this quote really hits home. The biggest thing holding most people back isn't a lack of cash, it's a lack of knowledge. Being in the dark financially is incredibly expensive. But here's the cool part, it's also a massive opportunity. Once you get the rules of the game, everything changes. Okay, so the very first step, it's actually about unlearning all the bad advice out there. So many people are stuck because of these myths they've heard their whole lives. You know the ones that investing is this super complicated thing only rich people do, or that the only real investment you can make is buying a house. Look, these ideas aren't just wrong, they're literally roadblocks on your path to building a rich life. So if all that stuff is wrong, what's the alternative? Well, it's what we're calling the boring path. The real secret isn't some high-stakes day trading or trying to guess the next big crypto thing. Nope, it's a simple, disciplined, long-term approach that works because it's not exciting. Seriously, if your investment strategy feels about as exciting as watching paint dry, you are probably doing it exactly right. And this is a really, really important distinction we have to make. The difference between a trader and an investor. A lot of those flashy apps are designed to make you feel like a trader. They want you clicking, reacting emotionally, and trying to time the market. And you know what? Most traders tend to lose money. An investor, on the other hand, plays a totally different game. It's all about automating, being patient for decades, and just letting your money do the work for you to build real long-term wealth. All right, so how do you actually do this? How do you become that patient, successful investor? The key tool is something called a fund. Instead of trying to do the impossible job of picking individual winning stocks, a fund does all the hard work for you. Think of it like this. It's one single thing you buy, but it holds tiny little pieces of hundreds or even thousands of different companies. Boom, instant diversification. And you know what? Getting started is way, way simpler than most people think. It really just comes down to 3 steps. 1, you pick a low-cost firm to open an account with. 2, you pick just one diversified fund. Something like a target date fund is a fantastic choice because you can just set it and forget it. And number 3, and this is the absolute key to the whole thing, you automate it. You set up a transfer for the same amount every single month so you don't even have to think about it. Okay, so you might be thinking, how does this boring thing actually turn into serious money? Well, this is where the real magic happens. It's a little thing called compounding. Let's take a look at how these small, consistent investments can explode into something truly life-changing over time. Let's run the numbers with a really simple scenario, just to see how this works. Imagine you start at, say, age 16, with 5 grand you saved up from a summer job. And then you just consistently put in about $400 a month. That's $5,000 a year. And for now, let's keep it super simple. We're not even going to assume you get any raises. Okay, so after just 14 years of doing this, pretty modest, right? You'd already have over $133,000. That means you've hit 6 figures by the time you're 30. And remember, that's without even factoring in the raises you definitely get along the way. All right, but what happens if we just keep this going for another 10 years? By the time you hit 40, that number has more than doubled to over $336,000. Now you can really start to see that acceleration, right? The money your money is making is starting to do all the heavy lifting for you. And now for the grand finale. Let's fast forward to age 65, but let's make it a little more realistic. As you got older and your salary grew, your average annual investment went up to about $30,000 a year. The result? A staggering $12.3 million. That right there is the mind-blowing power of starting early and just staying consistent. Okay, so now that we've seen how to build that multi-million-dollar foundation, let's talk about a mindset shift, because this is what really separates the rich from the truly wealthy. It's all about moving from being an earner to being an owner. So on one side, you've got the super earner. Think of like a high-paid doctor or lawyer. They make a great salary, absolutely, but they're the workhorses of the system, often paying almost half their income in taxes. Now, on the other side is the super owner. Their focus isn't their salary, it's the growth of their assets. Their money comes from their investments, and their tax rate can be ridiculously low. The super owner, they flip the script. The system works for them. So here's the thing.
The wealthy are literally playing by a different set of rules. It's a whole different playbook. They buy assets, stocks, businesses, you name it, and their goal is to never sell them. Why? Because selling triggers taxes. Instead, if they need cash, they just borrow against their assets. It's a loan, so it's tax-free. This lets their original money just keep growing and growing and growing, and they can pass it on for generations.
But look, all of this starts with one thing: having more money to invest in the first place. And the key to that is finding your own unique, unfair advantage. It's about figuring out where your specific skills are valued the most so you can earn more and then invest more. You know, there's this great little story that explains this perfectly. A father tells his son to go sell an old car. The son takes it to a regular used car lot. They offer $1,000. He takes it to a scrapyard. They offer $500. But then he takes it to a club for antique car collectors, and they offer him $100,000. The car was the same, right? But its value changed completely depending on who was looking at it. And the lesson is so simple, but so powerful. You have to find the market that values you the most. Okay, so here's a super practical exercise you can do right now. On one side, write down one of your skills. Let's use writing as an example. You could use that skill to write for a local newspaper and make very little. Or you could be a corporate copywriter and make a decent salary. But if you specialize and become a financial writer, or get even more specific and become a medical writer, your value goes through the roof. It's the exact same core skill, writing, but applied to a market that will pay a massive, massive premium for it. And that really brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all. And this one is for you. What are you uniquely good at? And where in the world is that skill set not just appreciated, but valued at the absolute maximum? Because finding that sweet spot, that intersection, that is the first giant leap on your very own kind of boring path to millions.